This is the long-awaited review for Hasbro's HasLab Liokaiser. Now, I'm going to prepare you. This is a long video, but it goes into every detail of every form with the transformations for each one for each phase of the bot. Now, I hope you like it. It was a lot of time, a lot of effort, so enjoy.
Everybody going out of their skin. See, we get to the end, but that's where we begin. You feel it? Mannequins and we breaking the mold. Breaking out and we breaking the codes. Similar to the jack who stole to the depths in your wet, so you take explode, so get it out.
Welcome back, everybody, to Deemer's Dominion. As always, I am your host, Deemer, and today we are taking a look at a very anticipated, controversial, curious, all kinds of thoughts and emotions type of set. This is the Hasbro HasLab Liokaiser. This is the set that people were excited for at first. People were really anticipating a good set because it is a HasLab. Now, again, HasLab are supposed to be something special, unique, different than Studio Series or any other series or the MPs or whatever. It's supposed to be something special, unique, one-off kind of set to exemplify something new, something, design new, size new, element new, design, whatever it is, but something that separates it out from the rest of the pack. Now, this is how it comes in the mail, in the box. Just wanted to show you that, so people who haven't had a HasLab experience, generally this is exactly how it comes. This brown box with the packaging, the Hasbro label, descriptor here on the top left corner, and don't tilt the box or throw it around or whatever. So with that said, I am going to split away and take him out of his box so you can see his actual product box. And this is the box inside the box, guys. So we're getting closer. We have just one more to go. And as you can see, they have taken some extra care in the packaging here. The package itself is protected with extra cardboard. Okay, and here is the Liokaiser box. And the artwork is pretty awesome. I dig this artwork a lot, actually. It is very fun, very cartoon style for the Liokaiser. This is really great throwback. It is from the Generations line here, and you see Transformers Legacy. So it's a kickback. On the side here, we've got Liokaiser, Transformers, and all the members of the group on the box here. And the back, we see him in fully transformed combined mode, which is cool. And then here we have just some photos of the toy and HasLab. And this is all embossed here as far as this goes, which is kind of cool. We got some more embossed pieces here, and here we have all the members of Liokaiser: Leozak, Gaihawk, Killbison, Jaruga, Drillhorn, and Hellbat. Yeah, that's right, Hellbat, not Hellbat. And on the top, here we have, again, picture of him holding his weapons. And on the box, we see him in his stand, on his stand here. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get to the fun bits and pieces and go from there. The unboxing is supposed to be an experience all in of itself with HasLabs. They are also unique to other toys that they make. So you can see we have them here numbered and layered. So we'll go ahead and just pull out from the top here as you experience my unboxing. All right. Ooh. Okay. Love the colors. Okay, so that's a stand, it looks like. And our beautiful, beautiful manual. Oh yeah, this is really nice. And it shows you in each box what the expectation is. How they have the box highlighted in the package. And then this next box that we pull out should be the members here. A couple of the members and some accessories for the combination. And then we've got a couple more with a couple more accessories, and then the final two members. And then basically the rest of the instructions, and go from there. Hasbro always does really nice job with instructions. I really do like how easy it is to follow how their graphics are. So really great job in maintaining that. I'll just set that aside for a moment while we get the rest of the boxes in order here. So we know what the expectation of this box is going to be according to the instructions. We should have 3 members and accessories. Oh, look at that. Okay. Okay. These do look pretty fun. These do look fun. So far, initial impressions, loving the little guys. Loving the little guys here. All right, cool. All right, and okay. These are larger than I expected, guys. They are honestly larger than I expected, although if that is a transforming member, or let's say a piece for the combiner, that might be a little bit smaller than I expected. But the individual pieces, members, are a little bit bigger than I may have expected. Okay, and here we go. Here we go. Look at that. Look at that. All right, so cool. Cool. So I will get things organized and be right back. All right, everybody, and let's take the first 3 figures out from the first box. Here we have the jets. So members of the Liokaiser include 3 jets, of which is the leader Leozak over here. And we have Gaihawk, and we have Hellbat, or as Hasbro decided to name him, Hellbat, because hell is too big of a word for public use anymore. In any case, these are the jets. They look pretty cool. I will say they look overall pretty clean, unmistakably jet. Not a lot of kibble on the top whatsoever. And the nice thing about Leozak is his wings do move and articulate. And the underside is, well, the underside, nothing extraordinaire per se, but not too bad either. And for each jet, it does have the ability for the landing gear to come down. So that's pretty cool in and of itself, and very cartoon accurate as far as the colors, overall design. There is, some bot jank, but you know what? Not, I guess, obtrusive for Hasbro. This is a HasLab, so there's a lot of paint on these, which is very cool, but expected at the same time, because we do, again, being a HasLab, expect a bit more than what we get normally from their mainline stuff. So this is all painted stuff here, which is very, very cool. Nice to see. The plastic feels good. Huge Decepticon logo on the jets here. But yeah, he looks good. I'd say he looks pretty decent. The side profile isn't the best here, but you know what? I think I don't mind necessarily, because at the end of the day, we're not going to keep them in their alt or bot modes, but it is nice to see that some effort was put in. It looks really very metallic, right? Like you can tell this was steel kind of plates put together. I like that. I like the mold design in these. They are very nicely molded as well. So maybe I can get up close and you guys can see the molded design in there. Does look really, really good. So good job, Hasbro. Good job. And that is where his breast force, or chest force, as we guess we're supposed to call these guys nowadays, because again, words matter. Okay, and so Gaihawk, who is the right arm, again, same kind of effort put in. Nice mold detail, very mechanical looking. The flaps move around on each of these jets as well. This one goes up and down, as will Hellbat's. So nice paint detail. The pink looks to be just the molded plastic color, although these two pinks look a little bit different under the light, as if maybe this is painted and this is the plastic mold. Hard to tell. That's a little bit janky on the bottom there, not too great, but that could get covered up also from his chest animal, or his breast force animal. But look, I mean, it is very nice attention to detail, great molding everywhere, truly, great job there. Now the kibble here kind of stuff I can always do with cover plates if there was an option for, but the paint is bright yellow, really nice effort there. I do like the molding of the jet engines as well, so that's very, very cool. And when you hold them up like that, it looks almost to be one continuous event. So there is Gaihawk, and then we will bring Hellbat. Hellbat, same exact kind of design here. They do feel good. The plastic feels nice and solid so far. There is some hollowness in some parts, but overall when you hold him as a unit, he feels nice and solid, and all of them feel, really well made, put together. I do like, now normally I don't like screws being exposed too blatantly, but these kind of go with a mechanical plane design that I actually, you know what, I like it. I like that those are exposed. That looks really fun in my perspective. I don't mind that at all, actually. And his blue is really nice. Really nice shade of blue. And we got that kind of merman head going back on here. Nice again. Decepticon faction logo. Great paint detail work as well. And again, these, landing gear do come down for all of them, which is cool. So the jet modes are pretty good, I think, for Hasbro. The underside is always a sore spot, usually for Hasbro. So we're not going to nitpick too much, although we should be nitpicking a lot because this is a HasLab $300 set. Okay, so again, I do want to keep that in the back of everyone's mind when we talk about these, because there was a lot of controversy when these things first came out, from pricing to design to everything. Keep in mind, this is $300 for 6 plus 1 bonus figure. That bonus figure, of course, we will show off here in a minute. This is what we get. And so far, the first 3, at least in their alt modes, are pretty cool. They're pretty good. I don't have a whole lot of complaints yet. As maybe things go on, we will see the test of time and where we go from here. But so far, okay. Okay, Hasbro. Okay, let's continue. Okay, and here we have, on the right side, we have Jaruga and we have Killbison. And this is with their armor on. It does not come intact when you take it out of the box, obviously, because, shipping. Look at that. This is all nicely painted. These wheels roll wonderfully. Nice attention to detail on the wheels, and nice attention to detail on the armory parts. And these two sets are independent each, but look at the paint detail here, the Autobot symbol, nice paint. Not a whole lot of paint on Jaruga himself per se, and this goes on kind of Lego style with these 2 pegs here and these 2 slots here. So you just basically do that, and these obviously come in the box separately, and you just pin them, or you peg them in here, and they stay in nice. Beautiful red paint. That is nice, bright cherry red type paint. And again, then you just take, and this is the torso piece, by the way. So what you do is this comes locked in, these wheels come locked in. And to lock them in is very actually smart, because there is, so here there is a little slot, okay, here, there's a little slot under here on these rails, and there is a little tab right here, okay, and so to lock it in, it comes locked in, it just slides in there to lock it in, and then that just sets that. That's really smart. And look at those wheels spin. Those wheels spin really nicely. So anyway, you bring that down a little bit so that that's straightened out, and just snap that down, and then we just move these thigh parts up a little bit. One click, that's it. And then of course we just line up these Lego style pegs here, basically in there, and that is how you get Jaruga's armed mode for his off-road race vehicle. Okay guys, and before we continue, I did want to show you that to complete this look, this actually comes down and tabs in over this wheel like this, and the same thing on the other side. So that way it doesn't look like you have two different sets of wheels, and it still rolls wonderfully. So there you go, there you have it. That completes the look. Killbison being the tank that he is, again, not a whole lot of paint. I think there are some, again, different browns, like this looks like molded, whereas this looks painted almost. Definitely paint, and plastic molding. So there's obvious mix of paint and plastic molding, and some paint detail there. Now he has, I mean, inside here is some nicely molded detail. I don't know about all that, but in there, but that's the foot. So, but great molded detail here for the tank look. That works out really, really well. This is Jank. This is a bit Jank up here, but you know, I feel like he's got the 6-shot treatment of, hey, it's a tank, but it's really just a brick with some details to maybe look like a tank kind of thing going on. So a little bit disappointing in his alt mode, or quite disappointing. And this comes as a separate piece in the box, and he just pegs in right there. And if you peg him in all the way, then he can swivel that far without issue. Now, if you just slightly lift it, then he can do a 360. So kind of cool there. And the other cool thing is these both independently rock up and down. So very cool there on Hasbro's playability feature with the armament for these guys. So I do dig that a lot. Again, these feel really good. He feels not super heavy, but definitely not light, but he feel the plastic, obviously, with Hasbro has been great. And having been ordered, or having, you know, the HasLab order since, I don't know, I was in my teens still, it feels like. I feel like today's plastic on the recent ones are a little bit better even than these guys, in fairness. Not to say that these don't feel well, these don't feel good in hand, because they do, they feel nice and solid. There's a bit jank back here on the bottom too, and these gaps are where the breast force animals go. So the nice thing is you can store the breast forces in these alt modes as well for all of them. So that is nice. I do like the fact that you can pop in their breast force animals and have it stored so that there isn't anything laying around. So again, back to the plastic quality, I do think that even today's plastic on their toys, you know, especially like the Voyagers and stuff like that, are definitely a little bit probably nicer than what you get here. Not to say that they're not bad. Once again, these are actually pretty good, very good in hand feeling. And so there you have Killbison and Jaruga. Jamaica, ooh, I wanna take her to Bermuda, mom. Okay, enough of that. Let's continue. Okay, and here is our guy Drillhorn. So Drillhorn might be arguably the nicest of the ground assault team here, the breast force team here. Again, very, very nice attention to the mold details here. Again, here, and the built-in weapon look from the top here. That was pretty smart. And here, not a whole lot of paint, but the paint application that is nice is really, really nice. Again, I think there is paint on some, not all, but it's hard to tell. It's really hard to tell. I'm not sure. The whites definitely, this is paint. That's beautiful paint, actually. Detail there. So the blue is hard to tell a bit. And then, so actually, as a whole, this guy might be the best looking. As a whole, overall, he feels nice and solid, just like the rest of the team does. Overall, I really like that this gimmick is included, and all this comes separate, and you just basically pop it in. So there is that. And again, his little animal can fit in here as well. So that is the 6 original that we've seen. However, we do have the bonus character, and that would be Death Cobra or Springer Gone Bad. So in this alt mode, oh, it's half good, half okay, maybe half okay. I don't think I need to explain what half is okay, but again, very bright yellow. I really like this yellow that is painted on here, very nice and bright. And we got the chopper blades that spin really, really well as well. Oops, you can see nice fluid movement. And then we've got the tail rotor that also does pretty good. A lot of paint here and here and here. There as well. The bottom, you might have the best looking bottom kind of the group aside from this guy next to him. And again, so these blades don't come attached. These rotors, you basically pull them out of the box and just peg them in there, and as well as his little turret here, and that just pegs it in there as well, and that swivels around. The nice thing about all of these characters is there are peg holes galore, 5mm ports galore, so weapons can go anywhere and everywhere, it seems like, which is, I know some people don't like that. I am a fan of that. I like weapon storage. It just makes smart playability, smart displayability, all kinds of smartness. The smart be smarting. So there you go with 7 characters in total. 7 characters in total, plus the animal characters that go with them. A lot here to unpack, and now $300 may not be seeming so bad of a deal. Alright, so one thing I do want to say, aside from fake Springer over here, aka Death Cobra, all the ones that have wheels, they all have wheels on the bottom. These vehicle modes here, they roll really well. Really, really well. The other guys that I just had up there as well roll really, really well. But the aerial guys, you know, the 3 jets and fake Springer, don't have any wheels to roll around, but they slide pretty well if you want to slide them. And they fly through the air pretty well if you want to throw them. That is your toy. You do what you want to do. But I just thought I'd mention that just in case you guys were interested. Okay, and here are the chest animals that come in the package. Each of the figures has its own chest animal. Leozak, the leader, has a lion. Gaihawk has, well, a hawk. Hellbat has a bat. And this is Jaruga's, which is a jaguar. And here we have is Drillhorn's, which is a bull. Then we have Drillhorn, which is a rhino. And of course we have Death Cobra's, which naturally is a cobra. So these are their chest force modes, and they do each combine into the animals that I mentioned. The cool thing about these is they are storable in all forms, and they do transform into the animals we just mentioned. And so now that we've shown all the characters and their alt modes, I will go ahead and one by one show you how they go into their respective chests into their alt modes. So we will start with the leader of the bunch with Leozak here. And we will take his chest force buddy here. And you can see that there is a peg here, or sorry, a hole there, and there is the peg. And he just goes on nicely like that. And so then that pretty much cleans up that look there as far as this area here is. Nice thing is you still can see both of the Decepticon faction symbols there, depending on the angle that you have it at. So that's pretty neat. You could, I suppose, if you wanted to stray away from the actual directions, if you wanted to do that, you could and just have the factions mirror each other as far as up down kind of thing. So that one also looks not too bad, because then you still have the vents here pretty exposed to give that jet look maintained, and it might actually look a little more aerodynamic from the side. So your toy, your thing, I just thought I would show you how it looks like. Okay, next up is Gaihawk, and we will take his hawk, and it's the same kind of deal here. So there is the hole, here is the peg, and you could do it that way if you wanted to, according to the instructions. So there is that. That's a pretty clean look, and you could hide the face, and kind of looks a little bit awkward from the side, but then it cleans up the face, and maybe if you really wanted to go a little bit extraordinaire on it, you could hawk it out a bit. And one thing to mention is you cannot flip these around. You cannot put the peg on the other side. So if you wanted to hide, for instance, the face like that, to have this reversed like that, that would have been cool if we could have that feature and then maybe do something like that so that we keep the Decepticon insignia exposed, hide the face, and just keep the detail like that while we don't do that. So that would have been one extra cool little step to have done, but unfortunately we cannot. But there it is. Not too awful. That head is a little bit bothersome that's the only unclean part, I guess. Aesthetic, really, that is a little bit on the annoying side. Obviously the arms aren't too bad. They are typical kind of Transformers event style, but again, there you go, there it is. And here is Hellbat, same exact thing here, where we are just going to take his bat and find the peg and prop it in like that, so that you have that look on the underside. So that kind of looks pretty cool. That kind of looks a little bit like if, something's flying, he's flying over somebody, you look up and you see that, that's a bit menacing. So pretty cool. Again, if you want to flip it and reverse it, do that look if you wanted to, and that way you expose both symbols mirroring each other, top and bottom. So your toy, your choice, however you like it, you do. So you can do it that way too. That's kind of cool, having that approachy like that. So some fun stuff going on here. I'm hating that I'm having some fun with this. Again, being a last minute decision and everything on this particular figure is not helping the situation. All right, let's continue. And next up is Jaruga with his Jaguar. And you'll notice that this will only go in one way because of its size and orientation of where the peg is. And just peg it in like that. And there you go. You see how it's cut out to fit only one way. So you can't mess this one up. And with the symbol exposed here, that's pretty cool. Fills up that unsightly gap, but we don't have anything once again to cover the head, which I would have expected, to be honest, these gaps to have been covered for a HasLab. But my goodness, these wheels are beautiful. Beautiful in paint, style, look, and spin. There is, again, Jaruga with his chest animal, the Jaguar. Okay, and Killbison. We are going to turn him over. Again, he's only going to fit in one way here. You see where the peg and whatnot is. Just make sure that his arms are tucked in properly. This one's a little bit pegged out here. And there he is like that. And I just want to note that there are these little side slots here, so you do have to get it in exact. And there's for the upper arms here too. And the peg, so there's 4 points that need to be lined up, otherwise he will not pop in. But that is what his underside looks like to complete the chest force, breast force alt mode for Killbison. And as we continue, we have Drillhorn and his Rhino. So again, you can see that there are the slots here on the sides, 1, 2 on each side. The shape matters, and then of course the hole for the peg. So we're going to have to make sure everything lines up properly and snap it in. And there you go. There is his look, exposing the faction symbol once again. Looking good. this one is the most complete, I think, as far as the looks in general. Again, he's becoming one of my favorites from this set. And last, certainly not least, we have Fake Springer, aka Death Cobra. So here we go. All right. Now with Springer, basically, sorry, with Death Cobra, I keep calling him Springer just because of his style and color, but all right, here we go. Just peg him in like that, and that's all you need, and that cleans up a little bit of the bottom. So bottom doesn't look horrible per se, so not too bad. Actually, this emptiness here could have been cleaned up. You could have left the ports for the weapons exposed, but big mess. This is not my favorite. That is a lot of jank there. But there they are, guys. That is everybody with their chest force animal in alt mode. And there's a shot of all the guys into their alt modes. And just before we get them all back into their bot modes, I just thought I'd show this little group off. So we are going to start with our buddy over here, Leozak. And there are only about 13-ish, 12, 13-ish steps. And the first one is just simply take those and flatten them out in the back here. And then we're going to put his landing gear down, and we are going to turn him over again and move his wings up like that. And those are some really big faction symbols, and these are, wow, these are thick metallic symbols, not your cheapo stick-on symbols. So that's pretty cool. Okay, before I digress too far into the rabbit hole, then we will also unfold his legs here, or these panels here, and we will bring up his wings here, his side tails there, and fold them up like that. We're going to take this part and flip it up like that, all the way back, and this tab should go into that slot. So just fold it in and tab it in, and you can already see, oh, we've got a really fun head. Giggity, as my buddy Deluxe says. Look at that. Look at that mug. That is beautifully painted. Beautifully painted. That red and that white. Really nice. Nice job. I'm really... Just fold that in together like that, and I'm hating how much I am enjoying. I really didn't want to like these guys, really. Any case, so that's step 6 and 7. Let's continue. And now, basically, we're going to turn this head around so that we can get a closer look like that. Bring up his feet like that. Bust out his arms, and then pull out his hands like that. Unfortunately, that leaves some gaps there, which should have been covered at HasLab. These are not your main lines. I think all of this should have been covered. That's a bit of a shame. But let's continue. Let's continue. Pull that apart a little bit so that they're not stuck together. And that appears kind of to be it. So you can untab these a little bit so that he has some freedom to move. Oh, okay, there we go. Just give him a little bit untabby-tabby, and now we can movie. All right, so there we go, nice and tight. That's his bot mode, guys. Okay, that's his bot mode. So far, looks really good. So far, all that molding and the paint application and the design, I'm really liking the design. These guys, everything is nice and tight, by the way. So this is me holding him by one leg. Shake, shake, shake. All right. So very nice and sturdy and tight, and love the colors. The G1 look is really, really good. I am eating all kinds of humble pie and crow so far. No other weapons. Okay, here's another thing that I'm noticing. There are no other weapons in any of the packages. So we're only relying on his chest force animal to be his weapon, and that's true for all of them. So the nice thing-ish is we do have a nicely molded chest, but we have this big gap. I don't like this gap. This gap sucks. This gap sucks, guys. I'm not a fan of that. Okay, and so taking his chest piece out, the only thing we need to do to take this and turn it into his gun is just flip this piece out. And this is his gun, and it just pegs into his arm, and it does peg in nicely. And so there you have that look. So there you go, nice and tight, just how we like it. And if you don't, you're a liar. So there we go. That's the look for Leozak. Looking really nice. Looking really nice. So again, these gaps and waffles are some serious nitpicks of mine at a HasLab event kind of figure. Now he does feel nice. He feels really nice in hand. A little bit hollowy in some places, but nice and sturdy, and he's just nice to have your hands on. Okay, I said it. He's nice to have your hands on. Here's the back. Here's the back. I'm loving these symbols. I almost wish we had those symbols on the front somewhere, some sort. Oh, we have that little one there and on the, okay, all right. But in any case, maybe a little bit more paint would have been nice. A little bit more paint. There's a lot of places where we could have added some paint application here for, you know, this is supposed to be a HasLab. HasLabs, again, are supposed to be special. So let's go over the Bendies and Twisties. The head is on this ball peg, huge ball peg. So we have all kinds of movement, a little bit, barely side to side, but really big back and barely anything to the front. But we have a 360 at the head there. So there's that. And here we have a arm joint here. And we can have a 360 if these wings were not in the way. So is there, okay, so if we do move those wings out of the way, we can get a 360. And we do have an elbow twist, 360, because of that mushroom peg. There is no kind of butterfly. And that's it there, that's it there, and a 360 at the wristy, nice and tight, no individually articulated fingers. So again, this gap, but for transformation, it is what it is, and we do, okay. We do have a waist swivel, but you kind of get that backpack out of the way in order to do it, because otherwise, no waist swivel, barely any twist. So you are going to have to unlock this backpack if you want any kind of swivel at the waist. And there you go. So is that a good compromise? Is that a good compromise for a waist swivel? Not entirely sure. Not entirely sure. What do you guys think? Is that a good compromise for the waist? Oh, I'll need to think about that for a moment. Let me take his buddy over here, if you want, his companion. So then that goes in, that flips up, and then the legs come down like that. Legs come down like that. And then there is his lion. Yes, lion. Okay, so that's what his lion is. We have no movement here. We have just up and down for that head, and that head stays there. It's not twisting anywhere. And so we do have a little bit in and out here at the legs, so tiny, all the way up. Such tiny legs for a lion. It's kind of comical. And again, we do, these are ball joints in the back, so they do have in and out flexibility. They will go all the way around as well. And then this tail, little lion tail, super thick for a lion and super short. But there he is. There he is. Kind of cute. Well painted overall. The greens, the whites, the Decepticon faction symbol. Yeah, let's not look down here. Nothing interesting. In fact, probably better to not look down there at all. So, gun mode and beast mode is alt mode. And there you go. That is our friend Leozak and his chest force buddy, his lion. And you can have him nicely displayed as the gun, as the chest piece, or as his companion. So, there you go. What do you guys think so far? That is Leozak. Sorry guys, I forgot to continue with the Bendies and Twisties, but okay, let's flip these out. We do have a nice slice there. We do have, if we move this out of the way, we can get all the way back and all the way. Can we get all the way forward? Oh, nope, we cannot get. This is blocking our all the way forward. Well, you could squeeze it out a little bit like that, but not sure that you can want to continue to do that. And then we do have about 90-degree bend there. So that is a little bit bothersome. Actually, why couldn't we do a little bit of clearance here? Because then that looks awkward. There is no thigh twist up here, but we do have a rocker, complete break, and no, well, let's see. We do have down for the toes for transformation, but no up, but okay. So there is the limitations and Bendies and Twisties, otherwise complete. So, yeah, we are limited by this backpack movement. We are limited by these features up here that appear to be locking mechanisms for perhaps the combined mode. And again, here you go. Leozak, ladies and gentlemen, round of applause. There we go. Not too bad overall. He feels great. Could use more paint applications. We do have some obtrusions as far as where we can lift and bend and twist and shout. Detractors a little bit there because those could have been, at least some of those could have been very easy fixes. Again, with the waffles and the gaps could have been easy fixes. Third party is going to probably come out with gap fillers, I am almost certain. And okay, so a little bit tabby, doesn't want a sticky, 100%. Okay, there we go. A little bit sensitive on the tab there. And then I wish that tab could have folded in or something because that's a little bit not the greatest, but not the worst either. And then these, I mean, they act nice to balance and counterbalance, but could there have been a better use, perhaps? Almost wish they would have swiveled back, to be honest, but it doesn't look like that is possible. So there is, once again, Leozak and his chest force lion. And just one more thing for the Bendies and Twisties. You do have a twist at the knee here, and that is it, but it can only be done straight. If you bend it, you cannot twist it. See, we get into stuff that does not work. Okay, just wanted to show that as well before we continue. Okay, so now we're going to transform Gaihawk here, and very similar for the most part to our first guy here. We're going to bring back the wings to Leozak, and then we are going to fold these up for the feet and put that up and break that. And then we are going to bring that all the way back. Same tab ordeal, same tab and slot ordeal. So just bring that and tab it back. And then we're going to twist his face around and expose those cool shades, those visors. Look at that face. Very, very cool. And then we are going to just pull out his arms a little bit so that we can pull out his fists. And look at holy hollow waffle gap. Okay, so he doesn't have the internal waffling in there with the mushroom pegs, which should have been the case for Leozak, but holy crapioli, is this ugly. That is ugly as sin. Okay, so anyways, let's continue. Let's bring the wings, or these back parts together. We're going to bring that out first, and then we're going to separate and then accordion these things down, the legs all the way down, and see, that is, we should have had that gap filler like that. That's a great way to at least cover the majority of the gap there. So you do get a pass here. Okay, so here we also going to accordion this down so that we can cover the hand. Now what I really like, we do have all the pieces built in for this one. There are no pieces for the combiner mode, so that is built in. That is built in. So we have a built-in combiner mode from Hasbro, which is pretty cool. Which is pretty freaking cool, guys. Okay, and here is Gaihawk. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Again, with the details and the paints, yeah, it's hard to tell what's painted as far as the mold. The white looks painted for sure, and the pink looks to be molded from the color. That's molded color. But here we have some paint application that's really nice and bright and great detail. That face is really, really fun. Really enjoy the face there. Great job, Hasbro, great job. And of course we got the paint details here as well. This could have been better. This isn't so bad, but it's not great either. Again, HasLab, right? You got to keep that in mind here. We have a HasLab. And do we not have a cover for this? I mean, one more piece of plastic would have been nice. This is, you guys are killing me, Hasbro. You're killing me. We're doing so good, and then you guys got some big misses here. Big misses here. If this was a mainline product, I would understand because you guys like to do this kind of crap on the regular. But this is a HasLab, guys. This is supposed to be special. 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 Make me feel special with the HasLab, guys. Make us all feel special. So anyways, he does look good. Other than these, he does look good. This is, God, ugly, okay? This is bothering me the most, this thing, because it's going to be everywhere. Other than that, the details here are great. And if we remove the chest piece, okay. We do expose the faction symbol there, which is cool. Not really sure. This maybe could have been covered. Okay, so other than, and then again, we're not going to continue saying what we already said, but on the back looks good. The back looks clean, again, other than our pegs here. That should have been covered up too. I don't know, guys. Feeling a little bothered by that. Feeling a little bit bothered by that. I mean, we didn't include extra weapons. Could have we included just a couple tabs? I mean, could have we? This guy feels like he stands a bit better than Leozak. And then for his weapon, I mean, that's about it, right? Just take it off his chest and plug it in his hand. There's no other. His weapon looks pretty cool. And he stands wonderfully. Stands wonderfully. So that's about it, guys. That literally is his weapon. If you guys go to pose and photograph him, you see the Jank. The Jank is starting to bother me on this one. From this side, not too bad. Not too bad. This side is good. This is not too horrible back here. But from this angle, that's kind of trash, honestly. Shame on you, Hasbro. That's not cool. That's not cool. But let's continue. Let us see here. Bendies and Twisties. We have no down. And again, the same kind of ball joint up. And so we can get a 360 of the head, no problem. That is no issue. No butterfly joints of these arms, and can go up that high seemingly. That's about it. If we take this back, then we can get a much fuller up arm. So depending on what your use case is, that is going to be that kind of compromise, and 360 on the arm otherwise. And we do have a bendy right here. That's a 360. And then, of course, this ball joint will give you a twisty at the wristy 360. No issues. And then in and out, no up and down. Does this guy have a... Oh, wait, what? Oh, because he's the... Okay, that makes sense. We get one kind of side, okay, and that's because he's an arm piece. So we get that, and it is ratcheted. So that's cool, that's fun. And what does that look like? It would twist up there, but oh, this is why. Okay, so we do have that kind of awkward looking down, but he's there, it's there, and it's ratcheted. Oh, that's a good ratchet. Oh, that's a good ratchet. Okay, yes. So that's going to give you the waist twist back there too. Okay, so that's a weird place to twist for the bot mode. So that is going to be arm mode kind of twisting for sure. And I don't see any actual waist twist because that's the ratchet for the arm. Okay, so that's the kind of compromise we're getting here. Not a bad compromise, not a bad compromise. And these are all built in here. So we have free range there. And that's going to give you almost a 90 degrees bend at the knees. And we do have a very nice twisty at the ankle as well. And then toe down, that's from transformation, nothing up. And can go all the way side to side as well. So we do have a proper twist up here and no other twist it seems like there. But we do have that and that and that. So articulation is fairly decent, fairly good. Okay, some sprue marks here. But yeah, you can see it right there above the wrists. So yeah, so there we go. His posability is much easier than Leozak. It's much nicer, truly. I like this posability better than Leozak at this point. In the trade-off here, it seems like we do have these trashy gaps and some ugly waffling, but Hasbro gonna Hasbro even with a HasLab, and that is a damn shame. I already showed you what that's gonna look like as a weapon, and then basically for the Hawk, we're just going to do that, and that is his Hawk mode. Caw-caw! Meow! No meows. But there you go. All right, it's kind of a shame that we didn't have any kind of emblem or symbol that could have been here for the Hawk itself. And, oh, okay, got to be careful. I was just trying to swing that around. And there you go. No other kind of mobility there. So that's the head from transformation, and that's all he's set out to do. So, Polly want a cracker? Can't even put him there. It would have been cool if we could have pegged him somewhere up there, but can we do a sound wave kind of peg? Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Okay, there you go. Let's push this back for a moment and then get our Soundwave arm up. Okay, Decepticons superior, Autobots inferior. So kind of fun there. I like that. I like that there is an arm peg and that we can move some stuff out of the way to get it up there and play around. That's cool. That's cool. But there you go, guys. There you go. There's Gaihawk with his Hawk. Do like his posability a lot more than Leozak. Okay, on to the next one. Okay, so transformation for Hellbat. Again, very, very similar, especially to our good buddy Gaihawk. Okay, so we're just gonna always start with the wings, and we can, since we're back here, might as well just bring this down and around and peg it in, clickety clack, and then twisty at the head. Okay, kind of looks like Merman up there, but again, decent sculpt. So let's separate the arms a bit and pull out the hands. Okay, there we go, there we go, and there we go. Same mold as Gaihawk here, so we're going to have the same jank and ugliness from the mold design there. So it means we're also going to, when we separate this, let's bring up his feet and then separate his legs nice and tight. And these are also nice and tight from when we clip them together, but you can clip them apart there. And now we should be able to pull his arm out as well and do the separation so that we can also accordion everything out. Okay, let's take that out, I guess. Hellbat's bat wants to come out. All right, that was a bit tight, but same exact maneuverability, just on the opposite side of Gaihawk. Okay, so we can do the anime kind of pose where we have the abdomen falling back. So, you know, for people that are into that kind of look. And then basically we're just going to fold these back over, and that is him completed. So we are also going to have the opposite twist here for the other arm, and then of course the same twist rotation here. Everything else is almost the same. We didn't have that in our other one, but we do have a full 360 here. We cannot move his head up or down from the actual peg area, but if you needed to lift it up, you could, and that's it. So, same kind of gimmick here, where you can basically throw that up like that, and like that. No butterfly. So, and twisty right here, twisty 360 here, and again I showed you up here, and then the same exact kind of movements as Gaihawk otherwise. So there you go, there you go, there you go. Couple of things here. This gap is a little bit big, it seems like. A little bit big, but posable, clickable. I do like our clicks. Our ratchets are great. The head not able to look up is a bit of a mess. Just in proper kind of rotation, because I don't want to have to do that if I'm just kind of like posing him. That's weird. 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 So there's some interesting design, engineering choices, compromises made with this figure. But then Hasbro wouldn't be Hasbro otherwise, would they? He is basically, again, we just take this, fold that out, and we have his weapon. That's it. That's it. In hand, what his weapon looks like. What do you guys think of Hellbat? I mean, his weapon's kind of cool. And Hellbat, if we are going to show him off in his other mode, then this is going to come up, this is going to come up, and that is Hellbat. Okay, there you go. There you go. And I don't know, do you want to tuck that in? Does a bat have a tail? Sure they do. So there you go. Articulation, just like all the other guns, is very limited. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, that is kind of a fun face. Not much paint or anything except for the blues, the eyes, and the faction symbol. So now we can't have him post up on his arm though, because how fun would that have been? Again, no kind of inward for the shoulder. Maybe a shield, a bat shield. Holy shnikes, it's a bat shield. There you go. Okay, so from gun to arm shield, to arm bat shield. There you have Hellbat and his companion, the chest animal. Okay, here we have Killbison. Okay, and so if we are going to transform Killbison, we do have to remove his turret up here, and then we are going to bring this down, okay, which will expose his head up here, like that. We bring that up, and then this has to, these tabs here have to lock into those slots. So just bring it up and over. All right, not only that, but then these pegs have to go into those holes, I'm guessing. There we go. And now that will sit in. Okay, that locks in really, really well. Ooh, nice face, nice face, nice face. Okay, so we'll bring it down his feet like this, and there he is transformed. Just kidding, just kidding. All right, so we'll swing him back around here, bring these out, and then unhook those, and then accordion this down, and then bring that back up. Separate that, and bring out his arms, twist the hands out, and then we'll rotate these like this. Okay, so here you have Killbison. Okay, so only about 15 steps to take, and you can attach his turret back here. That is one big booty hole. You can put it back on there if you wanted that storage. And it's kind of cleanish from the back. From the front, doesn't really become obtrusive, which is, you know, due to his size, not too bad actually. Not too bad, not too bad. I don't mind necessarily this. I don't necessarily mind this so far. What do you guys think? What do y'all think? I'm just checking over the steps here, make sure I didn't miss anything. And that seems to be it, but the turrets should be not pointing up, they should be pointing down. I don't know, I kind of like it pointing up. Let's try this twisted around according to the book, like that. That is what the instructions say. I don't know that I like it like that. I don't know that I like it like that. What if we did this? What if we did something like that? Yeah, I prefer it up. I prefer it up. If we're, yeah, I prefer it up. Kind of looks like he has some cannons coming from the back. I prefer it up. So if you're going to store it, that's my preference, I think, as far as the storage. If you're going to store it on there like that, I prefer it like that. Okay, so that's cool. This guy so far, design-wise, looks-wise, yeah, I think he might be my favorite so far. I think he might be my favorite so far. Yes, he might be my favorite so far, just from the looks. Okay, if we take out his chest, that is horrible. Do we not have any cover for that? Oy, I don't like that. I don't like that. That is, look how gappy. Look how gappy. Gappy McChest face over here. Yeah, Gappy McGapper. All right, I don't like this. This, not cool. This should stay on. As far as I'm concerned, let's just put him in his gun mode. And so bring out the gun tip and put it in just so you can see how it is. Now, also, if you can see, the head of the bull kind of hits the back, so this doesn't sit in 100%. That's a little bit weird. A little bit weird. So, if you do get 100%, then we limit as far as how we can aim him out. Yeah, me no likey that part. Me no likey that part. Okay, so you do kind of have to lift it up a little bit. And yeah, I don't like that. I am not a fan of how he holds his gun. That is not my favorite, not my favorite. Okay, Removing his chest animal for that, I don't like that look. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. What am I sorry for? What am I sorry for? You apologize, Hasbro. Hasbro should be sorry. That's ugly as shit. That's ugly as shit. Okay? But in any case, let's move on from ugly. Okay? And get the bull mode in effect. Just bring down his feet. Same mold as our kitties and lions. That is what it looks like. He kind of looks like that character from Ghostbusters that runs around to go collect for Zool. I can't remember his name, but yeah, that's what it looks like. We do have that up and down and the same movement for the feet as the previous ones and the same tail movement. Okay, so yeah, that is what his buddy looks like, the bull. Toro. Okay, there's a flying bull. So tell me your thoughts. Let's have a discussion here. We were doing so good until we pulled his chest animal out, and then things started getting fuckery. A little bit on the fuckery. This is one I'm just going to keep his chest animal in, and then everything else can just F off. You know what I'm saying? So get back in. Gotta super align everything. Remember, there are the 4 tabs on the outside from the legs and feet. Okay, so that is my preferred look for this guy. F the gun mode with his chest animal, and even having his chest animal outside, screw that. Not worth it for me from a aesthetic perspective. In fact, is there a saving grace that we could use this as his gun? Is there a saving grace? Yes, there is. Yes, there is. And as janky as that may be, I much rather, yep, I like that. That is the look, guys, okay? Do not use this chest animal for the gun. I mean, it's your figure, you do what you want to do, honestly, but I'm telling you not to use it as a chest gun, as his chest animal as a gun. But you do you, but still don't do that, okay? In any case, that's the look I would go for. That's the look I would go for. And you don't even have to store anything on him, you know? You don't even have to store anything. That is the look I would go for 100%. 100%. I like that, actually. Okay. So now that we've gotten those out of the way, let's go ahead to his bendies and twisties. And so big ball joint here, lots of movement, no side to side, but he does do a 360 quite nicely. Quite nicely. All right. He can look. Even if he needed to pull that, he could do that. And then down he's the only one that so far has a look down. He has a look up and a look down. That is independent of everything else. So, not great up and down, but it's still there. Good compromise. I love the paint on his face. I love that paint detail. I love when this is actually pegged in and his arm can go up that high. Not too shabby, not too shabby. We do have a twisty here at the elbow. That's a 360. And then we do have a 90-degree bend. He is quite flexible for as bulky as he is. And the gun does pose in, and there is a 360 at the wristy. Really good so far, really good so far. And, okay, nice. Nice. We do have that twist at the wrist, but no chest crunch, no ab crunch, and that's fine. This guy obviously doesn't need to hit the gym for ab day whatsoever. He is a leg, arm, and chest day kind of bull, so kind of drill. So that's that upper part. Again, no skirts here, which I actually am liking so that we can get great range of motion. Okay, and a thigh twist and a almost perfectly 90-degree bend there. And no, we do. Okay, inner twist here. Inner twist here, and we do have up from the transformation, but no down. This guy, I do like as long as we keep his buddy in his chest where he belongs. This is kind of weird that it doesn't. But this also, okay, so this also can give you extra leverage and movement. Okay, I kind of dig that. I dig that. So kind of not exactly a butterfly, but kind of a weird butterfly-ish, butterfly adjacent, and not going to give you the inward per se, but gives you all kinds of, yeah, for the mold of this character, yeah, that works. That works. For the mold of this character, that works. Keeping the mold design in mind, of course, and not a whole lot of jank. This is an obtrusive, even though it's exposed. I don't mind that one at all. And inside, because everything is filled, I don't mind this so much because it kind of plays with his mold design elements as a whole. So this, interestingly, I think I'm not going to complain about. What? I'm not, because it works. It's synced with his mold. It's synced with his mold. I don't mind that. I don't mind the backpack because it works. It's fluid. I love the mold design again. And the treads feel great. They're plastic. They're not rubber, but they look and feel great. They're painted. You know, light gray versus that black. That yellow is painted. So we do, okay. He's my favorite. So far, he's my favorite. I thought that one of the jets were going to be my favorite, or perhaps Jaruga might be my favorite. Hard to say yet, but here we go. Okay. All right, so this one bumped up to number 1 for me. What about you guys? Please tell me. Drop your comments, thoughts. Where are we? Are we in agreement so far? What do you guys think? Next up, Drillhorn. Okay, and Drillhorn shares a lot of the same kind of molds with our buddy Killbison, so we can do similar stuff, although, oh, that's a beautiful head. That's a beautiful head. That's what she said. That's what she said. Okay, so we're going to unlock these leggies and these arms as well and get them out. Oh, it's nice and tight. Again, how we like them, right? Might as well just flip these around anyway. Get them out of the way. And there we go. Those slide out. And then these can unpeg. And we are going to also bring these legs out. Bring these legs out, or these feet out. And then we are going to accordion this down. And lock that in. Accordion this down. You can see there's a little accordion kind of thing here and right here. And then put that in first, then lock that in as well. And now we have basically twist that around, bring that in, twist that around, and there we go. There we go. Okay, so this guy looks good. I like the blue. I like the white, the yellow. I like the classic kind of superhero-ish look. So there is that going on for him. Beautiful face. Again, I really like his face mold and coloring. That blue and red and white. This deeper blue works for him really well. Really does. Great paint where it's applied. Really good stuff. I love this bright yellow on the side. Attention grabber, and he looks clean. He looks really clean. Okay, so the Tank Bros might be my favorite. Tank Bros might be my favorite so far. And once again, no other weapons other than this guy coming out and the same ugly issue, but because it's darker maybe, no, fuck it. It's ugly, still ugly. It doesn't matter what the color is. Let's twist this out. Let's put that in his hand. And still not the best. We're still hindered by that. If we lift this up a little bit, it's the only way you're going to get it out. So lifting the head is the only solution for the Tank Bros weapons, the chest animal weapons, which not the greatest, but then we have this ugly gappage going on, and thankfully that is the only kind of ugly really going on. And yeah, I mean this, okay, but that's for that. So I can excuse that one. I don't mind. Again, it goes really well with the aesthetic. That's a little bit loose. Oh, okay. So that popped out. Here we go. And it just pops back in. Okay, so never fails, right? Okay, so here we go. It's a little bit kind of weird as far as the arm position when you move it. Okay, yeah, a little bit weird, but somehow yet still kind of works. And that's a shame he really doesn't have kind of a secondary weapon to use and keep the chest animal in his chest where it looks much better. But then let us see, his chest animal is the same exact mold as the rest, and his rhino looks pretty neat. Same articulation as everything else. There is the design for the head, his rhino head, and basically same articulation limitations as the others, mostly. That's what he looks like. You know, I mean, it is what it is. There you go. So kind of a neat gimmick, you know, with the chest force animals. They're not the greatest designs, you know, personally speaking, but they are what they are. For what they are, I think they work fine, you know. We're not going for awards here, but I like the Drill Brothers the best. I do. So far. I hate the gap. I do hate the gap, and I wish we had weapons for each of them, not just one or the other, honestly, each of them, because you kind of need the weapons. All right, so basically, if we just keep him in his chest, and I don't know, maybe a third party will give us a weapon pack that they actually all deserve. Hasbro didn't. It's a HasLab here, so, you know, more expectations as far as, you know, what you get. That's a much better look. Much better look. There you go. That is our guy, and similar articulations as the rest. What do you guys think? Thoughts? Do I need to do the articulations for you here? All right, Twisty 360 up here. We do have some up, not really down. We do have this weird arm kind of thing that is extra flexible. This keeps popping out, but only when I am touching it. So we do have movement here, but it is tight for me, so be careful. And that technically gives you a 360 as well. Okay, so 360 at the wristy, all the twisty, and this looks like, yep, he does have a twist here at the waist as well. No ab crunch to mention of, but then again, the same flexibilities of the legs, etc., etc., etc. Okay, so it feels really good in hand, feels really good, really solid. Love what they've given us. Oh, and of course the twisty at the upper thigh here too. And the inner twist here with the ankle rockers too. So all the same there. And yeah, I still think the Tank Brothers in general are my favorite. I just wish that we had weapons for all of them. And with that said, we will go on to the next one. But drop your thoughts on this guy, the Tank Brothers, the Jet Brothers. So far, let's keep it going. Okay, everybody, and now we are with Jaruga, Jamaica. Oh, I wanna take her. All right, I just can't help but singing that every time I say his name. All right, and again, really great alt mode for the most part, other than these legs, these thighs that are just kind of dangling. Maybe they are Cybertronian boosters. I don't know, but kind of wish there was a better way to kind of do that. In any case, guys, let us get to his transformation, and we are going to start by removing this big old backpack. these missile batteries and just take that apart like that. So we are back here like this, and that'll be our starting position. We will also remove the side, or these missiles here, and we will actually just put them on the sides here for now. I do really enjoy that there is quite a lot of playability with this. So that is the first step. Well, it's steps 1 through 4 actually. And then we basically just take this all back, and we are going to flip them over and space out the arms, and then take out the hands and rotate those like that. Okay, and then we will bring his top part down, and when these fold in, these tabs here will go into those slots there. So that is pretty much it for that. We'll come back and bring around his noggin. All right, and then we'll separate his leggies and flip out his feet like that. And that is pretty much, I think, almost. That's about it, guys. That is transformation complete. And that's what he looks like. Again, I am almost dreading taking his chest animal out because gappage. Gappage. It's a real thing with this set, especially because there's no other armament for him, which honestly sucks. But before we do that, this is the side profile. So this is kind of janky. Wish we had a solution for that was better, but here we are. And these big old wheels. But honestly, let's see here. Not too bad, other than, I mean, that backpack, yeah, is a bit much, but not waffly from that angle, not waffly from this angle, and not waffly from the front as of yet, but, you know, we do have those, and at least they're on the bottom, so that is at least, I don't know, is that a saving grace? Is that a saving grace? I really don't know. But I mean, mushroom peg here also blends in, so not wholly bad, not entirely bad, honestly there. I do like how the paint applications are put, especially that face is quite nice, very G1-esque face. And, you know, the paints here, of course. And not a whole lot of paint otherwise. Missiles, of course, like we talked about before. That orange, that's cool. The whites. In any case, let's go over his articulation real quick. Head goes very ever so slightly down and slightly back. Not a whole lot, but does go all the way around 360. This is tight, so, but does go around, yeah. Okay, so we got a little bit of looking up there. All right, and then that shoulder goes 360, which is cool, and that high for the arm. We do have a 360 here at the elbow, which also is just 90 degrees. So no fancy schmancy there. No ab crunch, but we do have the twisty at the waist, which is hindered and blocked by this part of the backpack. So nothing to do there. That's as far as he will twist. All right, then these legs are fine, nice splits, and thigh rotation, and forward and around, and he does have the best of the knee bends, so there's that. We have a full ankle break, down, no up. He is quite posable. Relatively speaking, not a whole lot of bad things going on. I like that. I like that he's posable. So these smaller ones so far have been my favorite as far as posability goes. So that's a plus. And what else do we got? My least favorite part here is this guy. Chest animal time. Hollow chest. Man, this guy just does not have a heart. Can we please give him a heart? There is up close and personal Decepticon logo there, like the rest of the chest animals. And then here is our kitty cat. Meow. Meow, meow, meow. And same ball joints, same design. No interest there on the bottom. That's what he looks from the top. And we got the tail and the head, and that's about it. There he is next to his buddy. Don't forget to feed him, guys. He needs to grow. So there's that. And then, of course, if we put him back together for his weapon mode, the dreaded weapon mode, we'll pull that out for his gun. So yeah, this is how it's supposed to be. This is the extent of his gun. Really, you know what, guys? Size doesn't matter, right?
What the hell?
That's never what she said. And again, we have that issue with the head there on the bottom, not letting him hold it properly. So, meh, these are fails as far as I'm concerned. With the guns, this is a fail for the gappage here. So it's really making it more difficult for me to have a definitive response for this set as a whole. Yeah, and you know, we're all in it for the combining mode. But I mean, really, they did a really good job, I would say, more than okay, better than okay job for the most part with the bot modes. Specifically, a lot of the alt modes, the jets especially, my goodness, the jets were really good. So, they're not making it easy. They're really not making it easy. But, I don't know, guys. Give me your thoughts, please. I really could use some thoughts on this because I'm struggling. I am just a bit struggle. And again, you got to line this one up. There's no side slots or tabs, so this makes it a lot easier to just line up that center tab and push it real good. Okay, so he looks good like that. You know what, I really hope some third party gives us some extra weapons because they really need it, and I really don't like the chest animals as their weapons. It really, like for these land vehicles at least, it is not a pass in my book, especially because we're talking about HasLab. Okay, HasLab's supposed to be special. Where are you special? Right? So it looks good. It actually looks good. And they all feel good. They all feel good, in fairness. And I don't know what you guys want to do with that backpack. That's a you guys thing. I'm not sure. You know, that looks like it's for transformation. Doesn't flip all the way over either. So yeah, that's not going to do that. So that's as far and as extensive as things are going to be. But I do like his posability. I do like his aesthetics. I do like that he has that jaguar head. It's so cute. So cute. That's fun. So there he is. One more to go, and that would be our Cobra guy, our fake Springer. And here is Death Cobra. So from this angle, he doesn't look bad, you know, from 3/4 up. And there he looks really good, actually. Looks pretty clean. So, but then when we get to that, really not the best. From the top, he looks really good. Anywho, back to the transformation. Let us pop the rotors out, just at least fold them like that. And then we are going to take the turret out and bring his tail up like he's excited. He is excited to be here and join us. And then we are going to, okay, then we're going to separate this a bit. Separate it all. Okay, so like that. And then click that away. Flip those up. Lock those thighs in. Bring this guy back. And then bring these back. I'm going to separate his arms out. Pull his hands out. Expose the jank. That's his chest piece there. Take that out. Bring his head up and over. Okay. There's a little opening here. Okay, and so got him tabbed in, and then this has a slot and a tab right there, and just align that a little bit. Okay, fold those back, and so far this is what we have going on, and these will flip up and over. Then we have this that plugs into the back here. Okay, like that. And then we've got some heels, it looks like. Don't forget these heels that come out. So that is a hidden inclusion, but looks like you have to get his hand out here first. But because that's not going to come out without that, he's got some stability. We could have left his turret on in the back, but you can also give it to him as a gun. Yay! Yay! Looks good like that. And then of course here in the back, I don't know if it's supposed to be like a Cobra tail kind of thing. I really have no idea, but we do have some jank in the back, some junk in the trunk. That is quite a backside by any measure. I mean, poof, you know, he basically told MP44, hold my beer. And I like this, that it is pretty cleaned up for the most part. So that's cool, because then otherwise you can put this on here like that, and that looks even better. That looks really, really good, really sharp as far as that goes. There is that look, and he does, other than this jank here, you know, we're going to see some waffling and whatnot, unfortunately. And then, of course, the exposed hand again. So, again, we have some not so great stuff from the back. If you just look at it from the back, it actually looks pretty decent, I would say, overall, you know, like that. From the side is, oof, you know, but clean. Let's be fair. Fair is fair. From the front, it is a good look from the front, as long as we're not exposing his gappage. Okay, now let's go to the articulation. We do have a little bit up as far as looks. Head goes down a little bit, and we do have a little bit sides, but then we do have tight 360. He can absolutely do that. And then the arms, let's take this off. So the shoulder goes up that high, 360, no problem. 360 at the elbow, twisty at the wristy, 360, gappage, and then we have that waist, that upper chest twist, and that going on. So we do have that as a result. Love the ratchets, nice full splits, and we have this at the knee, and we have all the way front and pretty much almost all the way back, and then we do have that 90 there, and three, you know, nice twist around for that, and down but no up, and then the heel spur as well. He's actually quite posable, in fairness to him. And so our Cobra, basically, we're just going to flip up his head like that, flip out his tail like that. You can, that's as far as his head will go up, by the way, but a little bit of articulation back and forth. So if you wanted him to slither around, he can slither around. If you want him to stand up a bit, he can definitely just stand next to him. So that's fun. That is fun. No twisty over here, but there you go. And let's do the gun. Let's pull this out. Let's put it in his hand. And this is probably the smartest one, because there's nothing on the back of the gun that's going to be obtrusive in blocking him holding the gun in his hand. So there is that look. And that might be one of the better ones of the set, honestly. So, which is sad to say, but look at that. That's pretty clean comparatively to the others. So, and I'm talking about the gun, I'm not talking about that gap. So, what do you guys think so far? You know, and again, this isn't too bothersome with that. So, I don't mind that kind of look with Death Cobra. Yeah, I can buy it. This kind of Springer meets G.I. Joe meets Starscreamish face. It's kind of like an amalgamation going on. But again, really great molding detail as a whole. I do like how he looks in bot mode a lot. And I don't know, this little Godzilla kind of thing here going on. But up here he looks great. So, you know, very poseable once again. Okay, so that's the look. Drop your thoughts, drop your comments where we are so far, and I'll be right back. Okay, and then just one note about Jaruga here. You know, I was just looking at him and I was like, well, you know what? You could probably just use that as well, like this, and then that would satisfy my itch for the whole gun thing, at least for now. And I kind of like that as a compromise. What do you guys think? I think that's better, right? You know, leave his chest non-gapped, and then maybe that as a secondary battery where he can just use as his missile battery weapon. I don't know, guys. That looks like it should come out. At this point, if anybody knows if it does, you know, let me know in the comments if I don't figure it out by the end of the video, if it does or if it doesn't, because that would be fun. And there is the gang. Looking good, looking fly. There they all are together, posing ready to fight. What do you guys think? There's the crew. Give me your thoughts. Let's talk, let's chat. We will do just bot size comparisons, I guess, before we get into what we're here for, the combined mode. So give me a minute, I will be right back. Okay, and here is the group ensemble. And here is our stick, our measuring stick, so that you can see, not that tall really, about 6 inches at best, almost from tip to tail. So there is that measurement for the crew, but then let us see what's going on here. And you guys have been around long enough, hopefully, to know that we got to bring obligatory MP44 to the mix. Okay, so MP scale, Daddy Prime. Okay, so that's MP scale right there. And we will bring some friends over. Okay, so one of my favorites, of course, Earthrise. Optimus Prime is larger than all of them. And here we have New Age Jazz for some scale. That's pretty fun. That's pretty cute. And what else are we going to bring? We're going to bring Just for Shits and Giggles out. That's what we're going to do. Who loves you? Dr. Wu loves you. Okay. So you can see, all right, let's try and bring a deluxe class out. Who do we have? Oh. Do we have a deluxe for you? Who's we? Me. Me. It's just me, guys. Okay. All right. Here is deluxe class. Okay. So yeah, they are all deluxe class based on that. Let me move this guy back a little bit. Okay. You can see fits right in the crew there. That's a good looking bunch right there. So what do you guys think about this scale situation? Again, we have 7 bots in total here. 7 bots. Not 5, not 6, but 7. That's a hell of a combiner combination. 7 bots. That is not common for combiners. So $300, 7 combiners. We're talking about $42.86 per bot. Well, what's a deluxe class size figure these days? Just about that, isn't it? So not unreasonable at all. Pretty decent quality. Quality, actually, no, let's elevate that. Quality is good. Quality is solid. There's some jank, you know, some gappage, some waffling, not as much maybe as a normal deluxe class. So we do have that advantage. And the gun situation with the chest animals, or leaving some of these with gaps in the chest, not cool, not cool. There should have been a more fluid situation, I think, for that. But overall, a very fair value. I know we all judged the price. We all judged the aesthetics at the get-go. And I am eating some humble pie, like I said earlier in this. Some crow some crow humble pie because this is a lot better than I expected. Okay, I said it. It's a lot better than I expected. Not a little, but a lot. And I hate that. I hate that I have to say that. I want to be right, but I'm not. I'm not. And I'm man enough to admit when I'm wrong. I was wrong. I was wrong. Okay? There you go. Confessional. Okay? Just between me and you, my one viewer that's watching this at this point in time. I was wrong. Okay, but don't go spreading rumors about me, okay? Because I'm not wrong often. I am not wrong often. I will dig my heels into that one. Okay, so you know what time it is, guys. It is time for what we've all been waiting for, and that is the combiner mode. So let me clear this out and start the combination for the combiners, and I'll be back. I think we'll just start with Drillhorn here. I'm going to turn his hands in, looks like, so that they look like that, and that they look like that. Okay, and then we are going to snap the arms in. So here is the area, and there is the peg, and we will line that up and snap that in. Same thing on this side. So I think that looks good. And then we're going to turn him around. We're going to unlock this, and then we're going to open this up like that. Bring it up and bring it up. So we can slide that up like that. And then we're going to close that back in there, close that back in there, and then these will peg back together. So make sure you line it up properly. And then these hands should tuck back in here properly, like that. And then we can lock that back in, back there. So that's snapped in. The arms, the hands are snapped in. The arms are locked. And what we have so far is this. And then we're going to take the chest animal out and flip him back around. And then we're going to bring this whole thing down, it looks like that, and slide the head around like this. And then we are going to cover this all back up. So we're going to peg that back in there. This will peg back in here like that. And then we can put our chest animal back where he belongs to cover up that ugly gap. Okay. We are going to bring out these sides like this. We're going to bring the arms back around, or these treads back around rather, and we're going to pump up these feet back up like that. So we have that, and that's it, because then this will be the front of the leg like this. That will be his left leg, and now we're looking at it from the right side. One down. Okay, now we're gonna do Jaruga. Basically, we are going to disarm him first. Sorry, brother, no weapons in hands, not allowed at the moment. And then we are going to flip his head that way backwards, like that, so that we can bring this and tap that back in there. We're going to snap these together. So tab and slot. We are going to flip these around like this, and we are going to bring this whole thing like that. So far so good. And let's not forget his arms. I'm going to bring that up and straighten that out, and tuck that back in so that his hands look like that on the inside. And we'll just leave that there for the moment, like that. And now we will come to his waist piece here, in which we are going to, let's straighten this out, and then we are going to straighten that out, looks like this. Okay, and we're going to do a little slide magic. This is going to slide here like that, and then click it in all the way. Okay, so now we have this kind of look. So if you're following and you got this so far, I think we're okay. All right, so now we're going to take these and tab this in. So there's 2 tabs here, so it locks in and stays in place. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Did you see that? There's a hole here, a slot there, and then we've got 2 pegs, and it will just slide in wonderfully. And so that basically locks this top part here to the base here. Very, very smart. I like smart stuff. I like smart stuff. I like it. I like it. We're going to lock it in its position. Remember how we did it earlier with the slot? Just slide it in up here so that it tabs in there nicely. And then we are going to do the same here. Follow the path and slide it in. Okay, so everything is locked in place. Nice and solid. Okay, that can take a shake. That can take a shake. I like it. I likey. So far, I likey. All right, and now we are going to take these hands and just twist and twist. So basically, guys, I'm just following the book at this point, and this is what we have as far as the looks. And I guess just leave it like that for now. And this part is done. We are complete. Okay, cool. Cool, cool, cool. So put him to the side and we will continue with Killbison. I'm just going backwards from the book. I skipped Death Cobra for a moment, but I'm just going backwards from the book here. Okay, Killbison, same thing. We're gonna disarm you. Sorry, and de-chest you before we do anything. Put you guys to the side. And with that said, what we're going to do is straighten these back out, straighten these back out like that. And we're also going to twist the hands back this way. So we're just turning one turn. There's a little click when you turn it that way, 90 degrees. And he's going to fold the same way also. So if we unlock back here, unlock back here, unlock, unlock, and then just shimmy up like that. Make sure we tab the arms into the sides as well, like we did earlier with Drillhorn. Okay, so those are tabby. So then that will line up with the hand, and then accordion that back up, line that up, and then tab again these on the insides, and then lock those, and everything should be locked in position. Okay, do that, do that, do that, and that. Bring this guy in there, fold that back in, snappy, and we will put the chest back in to cover that jank. Line it up because we've got the slots down here, and there we go. That's how we do what we do. Then we basically we'll put, remember how we reverse these, we'll just put them back to normal so that these can go back here like that. Okay, and that is our other foot. Tabbed in nice, looks good. If you guys are following along, there you go. That's what we aim for it to look like. So now we've got our 2 feet here. Okay, we can see this coming together. Yes, yes. Okay. Oh, hold on. We forgot something. We forgot something. Okay. Let's roll that back. Okay. This guy also has to remember this guy here. Can't forget him. All right. So snap that back in. Slide the chest back in. And it is, even in the instruction, just shows you that you just slot it in like that. So then after we tab that in, I kind of don't like how this doesn't tab in anything other than those 4 connecting points, those slots. And it does wiggle around a little bit on my copy. So kind of like how it doesn't just, there isn't anything in there to go in, and I can see that possibly popping out anytime you want to play, but we'll see. I don't want to make judgment yet, but that could have withstood better design, I think. So there you go. That is what we look like. That's the back, that's the side, that's the inside, and that is the front of the foot. Everything looks good. Everything looks all right. And now that we're done, we're gonna do Leozak. So my man, we are gonna de-chest you as well. Okay, it's nice and sturdy there. All right. Ooh, peekaboo. All right, so first of all, we de-chested him. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here so that we stay following the book. And we're gonna tuck his ugly hands in, or fill these ugly gaps in rather. Okay, like that. Turn them around. And we're gonna drop this whole thing here, like that. And then we're going to straight like this and like this. That's the kind of look we're going for here, like that. So now we can do that, switch the heads around like that, pop that back in like that. That'll click in nicely. Twist this around like this. We're going to bring his legs together, snap those in like that. And then we are going to, of course, straighten his arms out, lift them up like this for a moment. I'm going to bring his feet in like that, so we look like this, and then keep going. And we are going to tab those in to the vents here. So I'm going to basically open that up, and there is that, like that. And those will close in on the sides there to lock that part in. So just a point, there is a tab here and a slot there. So when you guys make sure that snaps in, and then you can just bring those hands down straight like this. And then we can close up the chest. There is tabs here and slots there. Okay, so we're going to line that all up and snap that in, snap that up, and again tab that in there like that. There you go. That's a pretty cool head. That's a pretty cool head. I like that paint. That red really pops. That red really pops, and this is why these symbols are huge. So makes sense now. All right. These arm tabs here have to tab in there. So make sure that when you're tabbing things are lined up properly, that they do tab in as well, so that everything tabby, snappy, tabby, snappy, and then everything locks in place appropriately. All right, so line it up and then snap it in like that. Okay, now this is super solid. Okay, so we've got head and leg and torso, the lower torso here, the waist and thighs. So far, so good. But no, we're not going to put it together yet. One thing, as I'm reviewing, these cat ears do go up. How cute is that? Meow, meow, meow. And you know me, I love cats. I have 3. I love them. Okay, really cute. I hate how cute this is turning out. F me. Okay, let's continue. And we are going to go with Hellbat. I'm putting the H in. I told you guys on this channel he's Hellbat. So Hasbro, F you with the Hellbat. Anyways, let us start. We took his chest out. Let us remove this as a shield to begin with. We are going to start by putting his hands in, folding in and filling that ugly gap. Okay, and put this back up and snap that back in. All right, so here is our starting point like that. And we are going to lock the hands in here. Again, there are tabs here and a slot there. So when you close it up, make sure it is tabbed in, and it will, there you go, just like that. Turn his bat head around like that. We gotta untab this like that, and it does have to go all the way like this, okay? Don't be afraid. Make this straight up here, like that, okay? So once that straightens out all the way, you can see that this recesses in perfectly and lines up perfectly. And then we are going to bring his legs down from the waist. That's where this waist clickety-clack comes in. So we've got that look like this. And then we're going to spread his legs apart so that we can bring this back up and lock that back in. Okay. And then bring this out, accordion that down so that we can lock it in place. Okay, so there is Fisto number 1. That is the look we are going for when everything tabs in together. And then we are going to tab those back together like the back of the jet again. And then we are going to twist this around because this is going to be his right arm. Okay, then we are going to tab these backwards all the way back here like that. So that sits like that. And this is what it looks like. Now this gap is a little bit weird. I don't know. I opened it back up to see if there was a flap. I didn't find anything. Am I missing something? And the fact that this doesn't just close, like come all the way down here, right? Because now it's a little bit outward look. Doesn't come close to his chest. Not a huge ordeal, I'm gonna guess, but we'll see. But that gap bothers me. Gaihawk is pretty much almost the exact same exact as the other arm here. The only difference really is these tail wings here. Instead of being in the center, they're on the side. So we will do everything other than that the exact same way and go from there. Okay, so let us tuck in the arms, or the hands rather, line up the arms nice and straight and tab them in. And then of course we're going to take this, unseat that, turn the head around and continue all the way straight. Mine's tight, just how I like it. Oh, it's super tight. One sec. Okay, so this was hella tight. I mean, you can see the thumb, it literally dug into my nail there. So be careful if you have a tight joint here. Mine, that was super, super tight, unfortunately. But we will continue with the rest of it. Like we saw before, we are going to take this out here and open this panel here, accordion our legs. All right, so we're going to accordion those legs up and in like that so we can lock it in like that. Okay. Okay, so I got that accordioned in and I twisted this that way, and then we're just going to do that. And again, mine doesn't, I don't know if it's supposed to or not, but it's not going all the way in there straight for some reason. I don't know if it's supposed to or not, but I don't want to break it either. So in any case, nice ratchets. That is the look. All right. So now we have our main members of the party here, and it looks like we'll be ready to rock and roll and get somewhere fun. All right, and here are all our guys together, ready for combine mode. So what we're going to do is we're going to move some of these guys out of the way at first. Just put them to the side for a moment. So each leg, according to the instructions, we're going to tilt this back a bit like that. And then we're going to 180 it and bring it to the opposite side. And we are going to do the same here, facing you front, you one click backwards, and then tilt it, and then turn it back to the back side so that we can slide them in here. Make it easier to basically slide in that rail so that we can line it up. You can see these tabs and the rail slot, and then just slides in nice like that. Then we'll do the same thing here. Line up the tab, and then it'll just slide in there all the way in, so it is nice and sturdy. Okay, so we're going to slide this around like this so that we can bring Leozak over. We've got the slider rail here. There's the rail here. We've got slots here for these tabs here, and then these tabs with these slots. So make sure everything is as straight as possible when we start zipping and sliding and locking in, hopefully. So let's slide back first. Okay, so I got that, I think, slid in there. Now, just gotta make sure those just tabbed in, and now these in the back tab in, and holy moly. These are gonna come in and lock in here then. Okay, and do the same on this side. Those are the most loose tabs. Everything else was super tight. This is not going anywhere, guys. Holy crap. Okay, this is good. Once it's in there, it is in there, and I have no intentions of taking him apart at this point. So he's gonna stay. He is going to stay. Good looking bot so far. Good looking bot so far. All right, that was a workout. The sliding part was super tight, super tight. So please be careful when you do that part, everyone. So those tabs on the side will tab into each of these sides here. So they do have a purpose, guys. It's these tabs here. Okay, so just tab them in, they will snap in, and they've really done really well to unify this, strengthen it. They've done an excellent job so far. Credit where credit is due. It is arm time, and it's telling us in the instructions to turn this around from here to here. This just slides in. Oh, that was nice and easy. Okay, I like that click. And same thing here, slide in, and that clicks in nice. Now, we do also have 3 of the chest animals left. We've got the bat, the lion, and the hawk. They all have a place and purpose. This hawk goes like this back here, so that's cool. The bat goes on the opposite side, and that's cool. This one going in right here, and that's a tight one as well, but okay. So that's what the back looks like. That is a pretty busy back, but I like that these all have a spot. I like that there's Decepticon logos everywhere here. He does look very cool, guys. I'm not gonna lie, he looks very cool. All right, so there he is, complete and nice and sturdy. Man, this was fun. I like that each individual bot to transform them is only about 14 to 15. Doesn't matter if you go from robot to alt mode or robot to combo mode or whatever. It's always between 14 and 15 combinations. So it's not cumbersome. It's not laborsome. It's not something that you are going to want to regret transforming, because they've actually figured out a way to make it fun for a combiner this size, for a combiner this, I mean, look how detailed, just look how detailed everything is. So much detail going on, right? I mean, sure, we have some traditional Hasbro jank here and there. However, they've done a much better job than expected. Let's give credit again where credit is due. And, oh God, why? Why did this turn out better than I wanted it to? Sorry, Chris, man. I think this is going to end up being a keeper, brother. Yeah. In any case, let us go over his articulation before we get into weaponry and whatnot. So head it's got a nice, decent up there and a little bit down. And those cat ears, again, can go in and out a little bit. He does have a 360. So there you go. And no complex joint, it seems to move beyond that, unfortunately. You are stuck with whatever this one joint, it seems at this point, offers. So there's that. We've got a beautiful, this arm goes all the way up because of this ratchet joint here. So look at that. You see what I'm talking about? So they did an exceptional job. And that is not the strongest ratchet up here, because you saw how that can come down. So, I mean, it holds it really nicely, but they're just big gaps in between each one. He can, oh, ratchets everywhere. He can go 360. Ratchets galore. Love that. Love that this can go out of the way. More ratchets. We have a 90 at the elbow and an upper swivel here. And no butterfly. Not yet that I've discovered. We've got that nice elbow joint there. And we have a 360 twisty at the wristy. And so we do have quite a bit of movement here as well. It just doesn't look like that there is a butterfly. That's not going to happen, huh? Okay, so no butterfly. That's fine. We were not expecting a whole lot, but we got a lot more than we expected so far anyway. This gap's a little bit bothersome. We do have individually articulating fingers. So this thumb is static. It's not going anywhere. Okay, and then we've got this first finger has this and a pin here, and then the other fingers are all pinned together. So 1, 2, 3, but then we have a pin here and a pin here. So that is all you're getting, just the one articulated finger, the rest are pinned together. That is, kind of wished maybe all of them would have been articulating, like fully articulating, but that's as much as we're gonna get. Okay, so not bad, not the greatest. All right, moving forward. Is there an ab crunch? I don't think so with all this locking. I don't know. Yes, okay. All right, F me. That's not a real ab crunch, that's just bending over. Okay, but at least the illusion of one. So he can bend over fully and only look up that high. What do we feel about that, guys? What do we feel about that? Not horrible, not great. Not horrible, I think. Okay, so we do have a nice bend there. Let's move these guys out. Do we have a twist? Nope. No waist twist. Oh, hold on, hold on. I might stand corrected. I might stand corrected. Okay, we do have some twist at the waist. We do have some twist at the waist. We do have some twist at the waist. And yep, see what I tell you guys, this one popped out. I hate that it doesn't tab in like this one. Oh, okay, can't have it all right. There needs to be a better solution for that one. But let's continue. Is this twist more than that? That's it, a little bit twisty, unless, no, I feel like something is locking in there. So, yeah, but, oh, look at that. Look at that. So, pretty decent, pretty decent, pretty decent. Okay. And a thigh twist. So, great movement. And then we do have a rocker at the ankle. So, articulation. This is kind of weird that it's one piece, but I don't know. This is, I hate this. I hate it. Yeah, I said it, I hate it. Not that I don't like it. I actually do hate it. Doesn't tab into anything. Zero zilch. Not a zip. And that's it. That's how it stays. And I use stays very loosely. Just, yeah, okay. Okay, are you really gonna fight me? All right. So there is that. Okay, all right. I love that the arm goes all the way up. That's so cool. That's so cool, guys. So I guess let's just talk about nitpicks. Hate this, hate it, hate it, hate it. That's not a nitpick, that's an actual legit hate. All right, but my goodness. Okay, the aesthetics are amazing. The aesthetics are legit amazing. Look at all these beautiful colors. Look at all the beautiful colors. Lots of color. I love that there's so much color involved in this. Even on the insides. Even on the insides. Oh, Hasbro, you did so good with that. I wish there was a cover for the inside of that drill. You know, something to tab over to fill that. I do wish that we had something to cover these gaps here. Weird. Kind of weird that the hand doesn't maybe slide into the center. That's a little bit weird too. Not horrible, just weird. This would have been great if there was a way to flip it over instead of having the outside here look like that, you know, so that we actually have the look of that on the outside rather than just folding inside. I feel like that's a bit lazy. Lazy. All right, I like how I like how there's a little peekaboo up here. I'm gonna bring him closer so you guys can see him. He's saying peekaboo. Peekaboo. I like that. I love eyes, and then eyes. There's like 3 sets of eyes. That's fun. That is fun. That's really cute and fun. That's playful. I like it. All right, so there's a lot to discover, isn't there? I mean, there's a lot. It's not the most painted. It's not the most articulated. It's not the most, you know. But, I mean, look, for as involved as this is, I really do think they did a great job overall. Like, it is very good for Hasbro especially. So let's take context of Hasbro. And as, let's bring these back down too. And as, you know, anything in this price range. $300, 7 figures, and I haven't even done the 7th figure. But look at all these details and paint and clean lines for what it is, I would say. You know, it's busy, but it's fun. It's busy, but it's fun. I like that. It's busy, but it's fun. What do you guys think? Busy and fun? Yes, no? Drop your comments. What do you guys think? Love that. These missiles here. This gold paint is really fun here. I love the molding on the inside again. We do get to see that playful, that great molding on the inside there that they did. Of course, all the molding that we talked about in tank modes as well. I love that they really did take care of the inside and not do typical Hasbro jank on the inside. So, really good on that. Could it use more paint? Sure. I think there would have been room in the budget for more paint, more things to cover things up. Again, this I wish would have twisted around. Doesn't twist around. You're gonna make a fool of me? You're gonna make a fool of me? Nope, does not. It just locks in back there. So yeah, so now we've got some weaponry stuff to talk about. I mean, I'm gonna take a moment and just keep checking out the details because it looks really good. I'm impressed with Hasbro. I'm impressed with Hasbro at the moment, let's say, with this specific combiner, let's say. You guys take a moment, I'm going to take a moment, and I'm going to do Death Cobra to see how he integrates, and we will continue. Okay, so Death Cobra, we are going to decobra you first. Nice and tight. You might as well just tuck your hands in from now. Okay, like that. And we're going to take away your gun here, and then we are going to fold you in as well here. Okay, let us make everything nice and straight before we begin. And let us start removing this as well. Bring this all the way up and over. Actually, before that, let us take the head and pop him in so that this can come up like this. And I'll slide those back like that. So this is what we have so far. Okay, and then we are going to spread these open. We're going to tab that open, fold this back in, and accordion that back. And lock that back in, which means we're going to do the same over here. We're going to take the arm out. Gonna put that in. We are going to accordion this up as well. and tap tabaroo. Okay, so we have that look so far. And again, we're going to twist the arm. And again, this has the same gap, unfortunately. Turn it back around. Put that back over here like that. We're going to bring this back down. And then we're going to raise that. That's going to be our slider. That will be replacing this blue arm here. And that's the look. Let us try that out. Okay, so we got rid of him, and we are going to just do what we did before with the slidey slide, and there you go. That is the look with Death Cobra, and that looks good. I like that look. And the difference with Death Cobra, he actually clocks in straight up here, unlike the other ones. Okay, and so this is the look with Death Cobra as his left arm, and I think that looks really good. I think that works. That doesn't spin, but that's okay. And it's retained all the same articulation, no worries whatsoever. Same articulation everywhere. Same finger setup. Okay, so there's that look. Now I'm curious, guys, which one do you like more? Do you like him with the Death Cobra, or do you like him with Hellbat? Okay, well, and furthermore, I believe he has a spot for his back here as well to complete that look here, like that. Pretty neat, pretty neat, pretty neat, pretty neat. And well, we still have lots of ports. Put it up here if you want. Anywhere there's a port, you can put it in. I think that kind of looks good up there. You can put it on the side over here if you wanted to. Inside, there's so many ports. Pick a spot. Pick a spot. So, in one way, I like it more because it's different. It breaks up like the matchy colors kind of thing going on, and the balance of the jet with the jet kind of thing. So that's fun, but then for the same reason that I prefer maybe Hellbat is because it does balance it out. So I don't know. I'll think about that one. I almost kind of wish there was something to peg in here as well. Maybe like a plate of something to cover that up. In any case, let us try option 2 with Death Cobra. Okay, and so let's basically go back to robot mode and cover his head up here like this. We'll put his gun back up here like that. And then we are going to twist the waist like that. And okay, so I'm going to accordion the legs so that we can tuck the heels back in as well. And then what we're going to do is then twist this back like this. Okay, and then we are going to, bring the feet up like this. And then we're going to make sure they're straight and then bend it at the knee 90 degrees. Bend it at the knee 90 degrees and then lock them in like this so that we have this kind of look. And here we are going to put his snake, extend the tail like that, and then we are going to basically, this is like this, and we're going to shove it in this slot here. Okay, so that covers that like that, and then we're going to bring this back down so that we have something like that, and then we're going to put this back up here, make sure those are closed, lock in the arms, and that's it. That is the weirdest gun mode I've ever seen. Okay, so here we have whatever this gun mode is supposed to be. And all right, God help me with this. Okay, so let's turn this a little bit, because what we're going to do is we're going to take these tabs that we folded in, we're going to fold them back out for this part. So now it wants us to remove all these chest animals from all the spots. That's tight. Go ahead and do that. Go ahead and do that. And even the ones on the insides of the legs, that one's going to be easy. Okay, so those are the chest animals gone. We are going to fold this up, and so there's a, you'll see, there's a tab here and this slot there. We'll bring that down and tab it in and do the same thing on this side. Okay, that is that. And what we're going to do is put all these chest animals on this guy. We are going to take this first one here and slot it in here like that. And then we are going to take this one here and we're going to slot it in here like that. Make sure it's going to twist that way. Then we're going to take the bat, plug it in here like that. So this side looks like this. And then we're going to turn it around, plug this one. We're also going to take the gun parts out. I guess it looks more weapony. All right. This is how Death Cobra looks like with all the chest animals plugged in and their little penis weapons out. Okay, so there is a peg here. This peg goes into that slot there. This one here. So let us try and put that there. And then there's also a slot here on the wing. And that is going to go for this peg here. And those are the only two in the instructions. So let us line them up and see how far we get. That's one, and that's two. And the jankiest weapon I have yet to see. I think that's horrendous. I think that's absolutely revolting. I mean, that is a huge stretch of the imagination. That is truly the jankiest weapon. We were doing so good. We were doing so good. This is, for me, a hell to the no. I would rather keep him in chopper mode or bot mode. Oy, goodness gracious. Oh, man. Yeah. All that work for that kind of payoff? No, not for me. That look is horrendous. Yeah, I don't know if that's tune accurate or not, but for me that is no thank you. What do you guys think? Do you guys actually like that? I mean, it's fine if you do. For me, it's nope. Nope, nope, nope. Okay, I'm just gonna keep him like that for a moment. And then I'm also going to measure him, I'm gonna weigh him, and then we're going to bring out some comparisons, and then we're gonna talk about our final thoughts and nitpicks, and let's discuss. All right, everybody, and his measurement is just over a foot tall from head to toes. And then if we're going to count the jank mode, then we're talking about 14.5 inches at best there. From wing to wing, about 10 inches. So he is pretty sizable. Pretty sizable, not huge, but not really today's kind of expectation for combiner sizes, if we're being fair and honest. A little bit disappointing there, but let's weigh him. Let's get on good old Smeg, who is our official scale of the channel. 1,203 grams, which brings us to 2 pounds, 10.5 ounces almost, 10.4 ounces. So, hefty cinch sack. Not light, not excruciatingly heavy, but definitely weighty, especially with Death Cobra as the gun. So there is that. And while we have him in this full mode, let's bring some stuff out. Okay, so comparison. Here is Legend Scale Bruticus from Magic Square. So you see he is taller than Legend Scale. So it wouldn't be fair to call him Legend Scale now, would it? So there's that. Let's do something fun. How about Takara Tomii's Predaking? Oh, he is so beautiful, isn't he? I can't get enough of his deliciousness. I really can't. Discuss, guys. Keep discussing. I'll listen. I'll read all the comments. I will read all the comments. MP44 again for comparison. Who else are we going to bring? Something a little fun in the sun. Has nothing to do. Beast King. Beast King. Love this figure. Beast King's a big figure. Don't forget. He's absolutely huge. So he's not a whole lot bigger. He's a head and a half bigger, maybe? Interesting. Interesting here. Things are getting interesting, aren't they? Things are getting a little more interesting. So, what are you guys thinking? I'm curious. Do we need to bring anything else out? Okay, so I don't have any of the other Hasbro combiners around to show you. So, let's talk. So, size-wise, he's a little weird. He's a little weird, right? So he's maybe older school combiner size. Doesn't really scale well with the MP. He's definitely not Legends scale. This guy towers over him. So not MP scale, not normal Hasbro combiner scale, because we're still missing several inches from that as well. So, So yeah. So what are your thoughts, guys? What are your thoughts about the scale? Now that we've seen everything we need to see, we've seen them in all their modes. I'm going to call this Jank mode right here. But do you guys prefer him as the arm? Do you guys prefer him as just a side accessory for a bot? Or, do you guys actually like that weird kind of armament for Death Cobra? I personally don't. And we've talked about all the nitpicks as far as the gaps and these guys, the chest animals, and how they don't fall in, or they don't fit into this one really good. It keeps falling out. The bot modes with the chest animal and the gaps in a few of them that really don't work for me personally as the weapon. They are lacking weapons, I think, for the bot modes, and I can see and understand perhaps why Hasbro omitted them, because the mode we're all likely to keep him in is Liokaiser combined mode. So instead of giving us all kinds of weapons for the bot modes, they are just focusing more on the combined mode. So I can understand that. I wish that wasn't the case. I wish, options are good, and maybe if their weapons would have combined into other weapons, that would have been better. So now we do have a couple more things. We've got his electric nunchaku and the stand left to go. And I see that the electric nunchaku actually becomes spears for each of the robots as well. I don't think that's a pass in my book. Still kind of just a janky shame, but okay. We're going to build the weapons, the stand, and go from there. Okay, and so here we have the weapons and accessory pack. And as you can see, it does come with 6 of the spears and the respective tips. That can all be used in the bot modes for the figures, or you can actually connect them all using the chain attachments in the pack as well. The purple connectors you see are actually for the stand, and that's about it. So let's get to putting these weapons together. Okay, so we're going to take one of these spears and attach one of those chain connectors to each one, and then we're also going to connect one of those circular spiky things to each one of the spears, and there is a little notch on each of the spears, and you can feel free to put them wherever you want. And that is about it. And then you just basically tip just the ends. So if you take the spear tips and put one on just the first one and the end one when you're done. And then you can see these are the chain connectors, and then you just take the next spear and then you attach it to the other end, pop it in, and then when that is set in, you take one of the spiky rings first before you put the other connector to make sure that you get the spikes in there, and then you put the other connector and then keep going. And this is basically what it looks like when it's complete. So these are the electromagnetic nunchaku, and it actually looks pretty cool. So he will hold any part of it wherever you want inside his hands, and probably the best way to do it is just remove one of the bottom pieces and then insert the spike first, because this way is a little bit tough, what I'm doing right here. So what I'll end up doing is I'm going to remove the bottom cap and then just put it in and have him hold it however you want. He is very playable with this one. You also note that there's extra piece left over for the connector, the spearheads obviously, and then the connection parts for the stand itself. And I'll show you here in a moment how that goes. Okay, and here are the stand pieces in the packaging. I'm going to take them out so we can take a closer look. Here they are. These are the actual stand tower parts that go onto the base. And these are the 3 pieces of the base that actually connect together and do have weapon storage. These are the connectors for the base that go on the back. And as you see, we have extra pieces, and I'm going to show you where you can store them under the base platform. Okay, so taking one of the pieces here, the centerpiece, if I turn it around, you will see here these notches that go up and down. That's for the spears. If you have extra spears, you want to store them that way. And if I bring one of the spear tips, you'll see there's a tab on each of these tips, and they just plug into these little gap areas, one on either side. There's one there you can see, and you just basically pop that in, and it's a bit tight, but it holds in very, very well. And there are 2 on the top there. There's the other one. Go ahead and tab that in as well. And that's what that will look like. Very cool, very neat design, very smart. And then as for the spear connectors, you will see there are these double little tab there, and they're circular. They fit right inside the circle gaps of the connector, and you can do 1 set on each side. Also very, very smart, and they are short enough that they don't obscure the leveling of the stand. This is one of the tab connectors here for the other stand pieces, and then you just plug them in and then put the other sides attached to them. Okay, and so this is the stand all connected. You see that I have done some of the storage in there as well. And these are the vertical stands for the base, and I'll show you how these all connect here. You just basically plug them in. And this is the connector to use for Liokaiser as the combiner for when you want to connect him on the stand himself. Otherwise, you can just slide the alt modes on those on the rails right there. And this here is the connector piece where the connector plugs into so that you can have the full combiner plugged in. And this is what it looks like when it is attached. And we'll just plug that one into the center one. And then we will use that to plug in Liokaiser so that you can see how it looks with him on the stand and him plugged in properly. So I know it looks like those 2 holes there look like it's going to plug in. We're actually going to plug it in the bottom screw area underneath those double holes. And you will see here how it plugs in. And I'll just slide this back slowly and line it up and then just plug it in. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, and that is what he looks like on the stand. So just like all the other HasLabs that have the stands, there you go. You don't technically need him to stand on the stand because he stands up perfectly fine on his own, but you can have that look, and you can add the other vertical stands if you want to have, if you wanted one, like for instance, Death Cobra in flight mode, you can have him standing on there, or anything else really, your toy. You do what you want to do. Okay, everybody, and as I was thinking to myself some final thoughts and notes, I am going to make the case, and it could be a not so popular take, but I'm going to argue that this guy is not HasLab. He should have never been HasLab. Why? Well, as I was going through my stuff, I noticed MPG-16. He is, I think, the right scale for Liokaiser. And with that in mind, that started grinding on me a little bit. MPG-16 is a great product, one of the best MPGs I think that they've put out yet, and scale appropriate, I think, to Liokaiser. Now, he's on the shorter, not so thick stand parts, and if he was equally on a similar thickness, they would be the same height. With that said, with that scale, because this scale is weird for Liokaiser, not Combiner today, but Combiner from years ago size-wise. He's not exactly the Legend scale, and he's not exactly Deluxe Combiner or Voyager Combiner or Mixed Combiner. He should have been an MPG product, period. The price is MPG product. The scale is MPG product. The design and style obviously could have definitely fit in MPG product because MPG-16 has great paint and great mobility, articulation, build quality, etc., arguably better than Liokaiser as a whole. So, while the individual bots for Liokaiser may be on the deluxe scale side, as a combiner, he is not. He is not fitting in with anything Hasbro has put out within reasonable years. So, it's a bit of a conundrum. It leaves a lot of thought. Why was this a HasLab to begin with? It should have never been. It really should have never been. He should have been an MPG product. End of story. So, that's my argument, and I'm going to stand by this one. And I'm happy to discuss with anybody who's obviously made it to this point. I want to thank you for hanging out, obviously, and hearing my thoughts and watching the transformations and going through the details and the nitty-gritty. Thank you. So, in conclusion, guys, he's great. And I take back some of my initial thoughts from the initial product releases. He is much better. And so for that, I can admit when I am wrong. And I was wrong. I definitely prejudged this before the final product. And I know they took this back to the drawing board maybe a couple times based on customer feedback. And I'm glad that they did, because he is actually a much better product than most of us, I would say, that are not just Hasbro, whatevers. And yeah, as a collector, this is a solid combiner. Yes, there's some jank, and Death Cobra is janky as the gun. And I wish that, they never really gave him that kind of design for the gun. But hey, options are cool. If you like it, you win. I personally don't like it, and I will not keep him on that mode. In any case, let me hear your thoughts. Let me hear some discussion. Did anybody else prejudge him? I know a lot of us did. And I take back my prejudgment. So Hasbro, thank you for a decent product, a good product, a solid combiner. The alt modes and bot modes leave some things to be desired, especially for HasLab, and we've talked about those throughout the video. I don't need to repeat those. So well done overall, HasLab. You are staying in my collection, and that's about it, guys. Again, new subscribers and viewers, welcome to the channel. I hope you guys stick around. And everybody that's been here before, thank you again for hanging out. Let's discuss. I love the commentaries that have been going on, especially recently. Let's keep that going. People, if you have Liokaiser and you want to show them off in the community tab with your thoughts, go for it. I welcome that. That's pretty cool. Any other bots, any other figures, go for it as well. And as always, I am Deemer. Stay young, stay fun. Until the next one, peace out.